The agreements area of the software is where you can build your actual contracts or memberships and all of the various terms that can be used with them. Here we can see we have a bunch of example agreements set up. You can create almost any different type of agreement in the system. So let's look at creating a new agreement from scratch as an example. So if we click Add New Agreement, we're taken to a completely blank agreement setup area. So here we can give the agreement a name. So let's do a 2-year bi-weekly auto-renewing agreement. You can then choose to put in a description if you want. Now we'll load that for the fields. First of all, the in-house account field. This will only be used if you're creating an agreement that is only an in-house account, meaning that it's an agreement you would assign to clients that would therefore allow them to charge stuff through the POS to that agreement. They can either prepay on that agreement through the POS, so for example, bring $50 in cash or a debit payment in and apply it to their in-house account. Then they would have a positive balance that they can work off on the POS. Or, at the time of assigning that in-house account to the client, you can give them a credit amount that they can go into the negative on to a maximum of whatever you set. Then the client simply comes in at various times or when you tell them to, and they can make a payment on that in-house account through the POS system to pay it off, or just pay part of it. The next one is the Apply Agreement Discount. This will be used in conjunction with the billing system when you create your products, services, or sessions. When you create those products, services, or sessions, you'll notice that there is an agreement discount that you can apply. So for example, you offered all corporate clients 10% off waters or shakes through your POS. Then when you create those water and shake items in the POS, you would put an agreement discount of 10%. If this happened to be an agreement where that discount would apply, you would simply check Apply Agreement Discount, and then when that client is loaded in the POS and an item that has an agreement discount is also loaded, it will automatically apply the discount to the item. Next, you're going to select whether the agreement is auto-renewing or not. Paid in full and single payment agreement types will not auto-renew. They are single payment with no option to auto-renew. Auto-renewing simply means that at the end of the duration or the term of the agreement, payments will continue based on the payment type until the client cancels. If auto-renew is unselected, once the duration of the term of the agreement is ended, there will no longer be any billing or invoices generated for the client. Next, you can choose whether you want to assign any packages to this agreement. This would be used, for example, if with clients you wanted to offer, let's say, a free fitness assessment with this agreement. You could then create a package under your billing system of complimentary fitness assessment. You would come in here, and when you create the agreement, you would then choose that complimentary fitness assessment. Here's a free body comp, something that's similar. And now, anytime a client purchases this agreement, it will automatically give them one free body composition added to their profile based on whatever's in the package that you've created. The one-time package will only be added one time ever when the client first purchases the agreement. The each payment package will add whatever package you've selected with each successful payment of the agreement. So if you wanted clients to get one free personal training session with every biweekly payment, you would create a one free PT package, add it in here, and then with every biweekly payment, one complimentary PT session would be added to the client's profile that can then be used. Next, you're going to select the payment type. You can select between paid in full. In that case, when this client purchases the agreement, it will immediately generate an invoice that is paid in the club. So you collect that through your point of sale system, and the transaction's complete. All of the other payments below that are done through the payment processor. So you can choose monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, quarterly, and annual payments, as well as a single payment, which is very similar to paid in full, except the payment is sent to the payment processor rather than collected in the club. So in this case, we'll select biweekly payment. You can now set the duration or term of the agreement. So in this case, we're going to select a 2-year or 24-month term. Next, you're going to set what your default agreement dues are. Let's say they're $19.99. You can then set what your default admin fee is, your default card fee, and any cancellation fee you would charge if the client were to cancel prior to the end of the duration of this agreement. So if you charge a $200 cancellation fee, for example, if this agreement were canceled prior to the 24 months of the agreement being up, then an invoice of $200 would automatically be generated for that client and added to their profile and due immediately. Next, you can set up to 2 different annual fees that you can charge. You simply set the amount that you want to charge, and you can set a specific day of the year that you want that charged on. That will default to that date for all clients. Otherwise, if you leave it blank, the annual fee will automatically be charged on the anniversary date of the agreement start date itself. The same applies for annual fee 2. It just gives you an option to do 2 annual fees throughout the year. So if you wanted all payments collected on July 1st, you would simply put July 1st, and that will be the default date for all new agreements. You're then just going to choose what taxes apply to this agreement. Whether or not you want it to display in the virtual store. Virtual store is where existing clients can log in and then access the virtual store to purchase items online that are then immediately added to their profile. The update type to client is checked by default. This means that if this agreement is sold to a lead or a prospect in the system, it will automatically update them to be a client. The only time you would want to uncheck this is if you are doing a free 1-week pass agreement that gives them access to the gym for 1 week, and you're going to sell that to a lead or a prospect, but they're not really going to be a client at that point. So you would uncheck this so they still stay a lead or a prospect. Next, you can choose what client agreement fields to lock. As an administrator, if you sell an agreement to any client, you will always be able to edit these fields when you add that agreement to the client's profile. But for your staff, this will lock specific fields. So for example, if you only wanted them to be able to adjust the administration fee when selling an agreement, then we would simply lock all of the other fields, and then staff will have no ability to make any edits on those fields when adding the agreements. Next is the payment processing link. Every package and every agreement in the system automatically generates a payment processing link. This can then be used to sell agreements online to non-members. So you could create a page on your website, for example, for agreement sales or membership sales. You could have a description of this particular agreement and then add a Buy Now button. You would then associate this payment processing link to that Buy Now button. When a client clicks it, it will take them to a page where it collects their contact information, their billing information, has them agree to the agreement wording, and then sets them up in your system as a new client, and they're basically ready to process from that point. The agreement wording field is where you select the agreement wording that you want to be associated with this agreement. And finally, the unlimited sessions. This is used if you have an agreement type where, let's say you have classes that you normally charge for, but with a specific agreement type, clients get unlimited access to those classes. So let's use Bootcamp, for example. If clients were to get unlimited access to the Bootcamp classes, you would simply select that. You can hold Shift to select multiple, or you can hold Control to select with spaces in between. So in this case, we would select the 2 Bootcamp classes, and then when we save this agreement, anybody who purchases it will automatically be given access to an unlimited number of Bootcamp classes. And finally, the inactive button. This will just remove this agreement type from the drop-down on the agreement page when you're selling to clients, so that it's no longer an option to be able to sell to them. It will not affect any clients with this existing agreement type. Once you're done, you simply click Save. That will save your new agreement, and it becomes part of your agreement types.